got my two teenage girls. I think they were 11 and 12 at the time, 12 and
Uh-huh.
13, 12 and 13. But I spent 3 years with them in the house, single parent, while I'm doing Soulogy, and
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it was quite an experience. I learned a lot from them.
Yes, yes. I always say that. I learn just as much from my kids as I teach them, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Yeah, you've been quite an inspiration to me. Yeah, I've been following you for years. The Soul
Mhm.
Speak and
Hmm.
just everything you've done has been a huge inspiration to me.
Far out. I'm glad to hear that. Far out, man. This is gonna be a good show. I feel it. I'm getting chills.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play the intro real quick and allow people time to come in. We'll be back in a minute and 20 seconds with this beautiful beloved brother.
Yes, sir.
What's happening, everybody? We got Kevin's in the house with us. We've exchanged messages. We got some commonalities. We both like to try to spit out some soul speak, and
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it's good. It's good. It's been a long time coming, and welcome to the show. Welcome to Soul Speaks 5D. I
Thank you.
think, if I'm not mistaken, I think you responded to a post Morgan put up
I
about,
did.
yeah, and I was
Yeah.
excited to see your name on there. I was like, wow, this ought to be good. Um,
Nice.
and you were just saying before the show that you're doing the ascension with as a single parent with two teenagers in the house. I
Yeah.
mean, that says a lot right there. It
Thank
really
you.
does. Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Where you want to start, but this is a platform, for you
Okay.
to tell your story and wherever you want to go with it. But yeah, I'll just throw it on you.
Yeah.
I'll put the pressure on you. I'll hand you the hot
Okay.
potato.
I feel it a little bit, but that's all right. We're good. But yeah, man, I just I think like all of us, we've been through a lot in our lives, overcome a lot of things that were meant to break us. Um, Always try to find the lesson, the silver lining in things. Been a lot of ups and downs on the road. Um, like I mentioned, I was single parent. Went through a tough marriage. My ex-wife was an addict, and that really opened up a lot of things about myself um, in that relationship. Um, I started to see that I was kind of like an enabler type caretaker, willing to put my needs and wants to the side for others. And one of my favorite quotes is, "The road to hell is paved in good intentions." And we may think that we're doing the right thing a lot of the times, but in the end, we may not. Um, I'm grateful for the lessons that I've learned and, the path that it set me on. I really started to awaken maybe about 7 years ago. And it was when I got involved in, I don't know if anyone's familiar with Naranon meetings, but they're meetings for family members and friends of addicts. And, you know, I went to these meetings thinking that we're going to go in there and trade stories about everything that we've been put through. And when I went in there, they made it clear that, hey, this is about you and what you've contributed to the situation. And that really made me do some soul searching, you know, because up until that point, I almost felt like a victim, you know?
Yeah.
And so I really started doing some soul searching on, you know, what it is inside me that kind of kept me in the situation that I was in. And just really started to dig deep and take an honest look at myself, which is not always the easiest thing to do. You know, I think when we have uncomfortable emotions and feelings, we kind of want to tend to stuff them down and you know, act like everything's okay, but there's no growth in that. And you know, slowly but surely, I've started to awaken. It's been difficult with, you know, full-time job, raising two kids. My kids are a little older now, so I've got more time for myself. I've been doing some shadow work, which has been a little uncomfortable, but you know, I'm learning to how important it is to integrate that darkness with the light, you know, and accept ourselves for all that we are, you know, good and bad. And I think when it's all said and done, there's no need to judge good or bad. You know, things just are as they are.
Yeah.
But you know, I've started to cross paths with a lot of like-minded individuals. Things have kind of just happened by chance. I've been learning to set intentions and try to manifest what I want my life to be. And I've had people kind of approach me out of nowhere. Social media is a huge platform. You know, we have access to people all over the country, all over the world that otherwise we would never, you know, meet or cross paths with. And I've had some great help. Um, I met an unbelievable woman named Chrissy Ann back in November 2019. Um, Me and her have been in a relationship for about 21 months now. It's been back and forth, up and down, because me and her are kind of both working through some issues, past traumas, condition, unhealthy patterns that we fell into, you know, when we were in survival mode. And but she's taught me a lot. She's taught me how to open up my heart and how to live from my heart and kind of break down the walls that I had built up. And it's been an unbelievable experience. She's guided me back to myself. I think me and her are both beneficial for each other, and I'm grateful that I've crossed paths with her. You and Morgan's story has been a huge inspiration to both of us, and I see the comment there. Thank you for your vulnerability. That's one thing that Chrissy taught me about. Up until that point, you know, I was just I had the walls built up, didn't want to let anybody in, didn't really understand what it meant to be vulnerable. And, you know, I really see now where I'm at in my life, how important that is to open ourselves up and be vulnerable. I mean, without it, there's no growth. We're just, you know, we're trying to stay in our comfort zone if we're not vulnerable. And, you know, I'm ready to expand and continue to grow. And, you know, so I'm just opening myself up to experiences, learning to accept things that they are, you know, surrender to the universe for, you know, whatever it is that it has in store for me. And just kind of try to continue to walk the path that I'm on to continue to expand.
Damn. Can't argue with that. That was a hell of a lead in. I don't know how
Yes.
you're gonna I don't know how
Yeah.
you're gonna I don't know how you're gonna top that, but
Yeah.
these meetings that you went to, I went through 12 step.
Okay.
early, a couple of years into my awakening. And when I heard you talk about this, I had heard of groups where it wasn't for the person, the addict or the alcoholic, it was for the members. I never thought about that. I would have thought it was what you thought it was going to be, like let's talk about let's lick our wounds together. But
Right.
I remember the first meeting I went to, and this was forced. It wasn't something I wanted to go to, but I had walked the streets for 2 years, and then I went into this environment, and 30, 40 people in these meetings, and they get up and they tell these, my name's Todd, I'm an addict, or, and then they start to tell their story. But anyway, I wasn't that familiar with the 12 steps, but step 4, it says to take a fearless moral inventory. And I realized at that first
meeting, the same 12 steps.
Same 12 steps, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I realized when they said that, I thought, and actually I got up to speak, that was the thing. And I said, I just realized I did step 4 for the last 2 years. So to go into a meeting like you're talking about, where you have that, it's understandable you would have the expectation of it is a victim oriented kind of thing. Why wouldn't it be? And, right. But you alluded to that when you started talking, that's basically what you did. You took responsibility for your role, right?
I did. And it set me on the path that I'm on now. Right. I'm forever grateful. I didn't even know the meetings existed. I just kind of felt like I needed some type of help, some type of support, and started Googling things and found them. It's one thing that bothered me is it's a shame that more people did not know about them and go. I mean, there would only be 3 or 4 people in these meetings, and I saw so many people come one time and never come back because I think it was too much for them. They like I said, everyone was in this victim mentality. And when you come in there and it's like, hey, this is about you, and the role that you played, a lot of people get turned off by that. A lot of people don't want to admit the part that they played and take a deep look at themselves. And it took me a while, but I caught on and I stayed consistent with it. And it actually became very rewarding for me because I went consistently for about 2 or 3 years. And I actually got to the point where I was able to help people that came in there, and after some of the meetings, I would have people tell me, how much some of the things I said meant to them. And it also helped me to learn, how much I had grown, how much I had learned. When we give others advice, I think that's a platform for us to really show ourselves how far we've come.
Yeah.
And it's just been an amazing experience for me. I don't have any regrets. I don't think I would change anything because I wouldn't be where I am now.
Yeah. Perfect design, right?
Yes. Yeah, it is all in divine timing. It is. And I'm still in the process of, I think as men, we're more logical and rational. And, I'm learning to get more in touch with my intuition and my gut and just kind of, like I said, I'm learning how to set intentions and kind of follow the signs and not force things so much to what I think they should be. As I am, like I said, just kind of learning to follow the signs and follow my heart. This relationship that I've been in, like I said, it's really helped me. And this is really just in the last few months. I've really done some tremendous healing with some of the shadow work that I've been doing, and just really taking an honest look at myself because I don't want to continue to repeat some of the patterns. I mean, I'm even going back to my childhood and looking at the dynamics between my parents and the dynamic between my grandparents. Like both of my grandfathers were alcoholics. my father was an alcoholic. And then I kind of repeated that same pattern, subconsciously, in the marriage that I got into, and it really took everything that happened to kind of wake me up to these patterns, because I don't want my kids to repeat them. And I've made some mistakes as a parent. I was in survival mode for years, and I didn't, always set rules and boundaries with my kids and things like that. But I mean, overall, they're good kids, and it's all a learning lesson. I'm kind of learning to not beat myself up over past mistakes, and just kind of accept things for what they are, learn to forgive myself, learn to realize that I didn't know any better at the time, and the more that we kind of live in the past, we're not moving forward. So, I'm slowly learning to kind of let things go, let things unfold, live from the heart, trust the universe, and just walk this divine path that I'm on with the inspiration and the guidance that I receive from everyone I encounter.
Wow. Powerful. Very powerful. Did you have, I guess your pivotal or your initial wake up was walking into those meetings. I'm sure that, and you mentioned shadow work. I'm sure you've had to, you talked about boundaries and self-responsibility, but I'm sure you must have had to make some tough decisions, and go through some things as a result, right? I mean, you expand in certain things, be they habits, patterns, people, jobs, whatever. You just can't do it anymore. Have you
Yes,
have you had, have you had to contend with that? I guess you have.
I have. I was real bad in my life about giving my power away to everyone else, family, friends. I'm just by nature, I'm a giver. I've got a
Mm.
huge heart, but we've got to be careful with that, because we'll tend to overextend ourselves and give all our power away, and leave nothing for ourselves. And I'm to kind of take my power back. And it doesn't matter who it is. Coworkers, if it's not a good situation for you anymore, you've kind of got to distance yourself from it. And that's been a tough lesson for me, because I've always been the type of person that wants to help everybody, that wants to fix everything. And I always kind of tended to put myself last. And that's been a tough one. I still struggle with that from time to time. I think consistency is key. I think striving for perfection is an illusion, because I don't think perfection exists. I think that as long as we accept where we're at and where we've been, and we're making an honest, sincere effort to kind of change ourselves and the things that we see that we don't really like about ourselselves, or behaviors from the past. And I'm even caught up. I'm stuck in the matrix, working a 40-hour a week job, 9 to 5. I'm a union sheet metal worker, and I've been doing sheet metal work for 25 years.
Right.
And it's just getting to the point where it's draining physically, mentally, spiritually, and I'm really kind of looking for other options now to kind of branch out, because I feel like I'm caught in between two worlds, between working this 9 to 5 and then getting off, and then trying to be who I am outside of work. It's just, it causes a lot of conflict sometimes. And I know there's a lot of people out there.
He'll come back. It's a powerful testimony. He'll come back. It's the frequency. What a honest assessment, though, right? I mean, you could have started and stopped the show in the first 6 or 7 minutes when he said what he said. Oh, you're back. You're back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're fine. It worked out fine. You had about a 45-second freeze, but you're good.
Oh,
Signal.
okay. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that happened.
No, you were just talking about working for the union 25 years and not having a. I mean, and becoming more difficult to walk in both worlds, and basically you're having two. Well, you're walking in both worlds.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I told you that the first couple of years I was on the streets, and I came off the streets, got my kids, and I'd been in construction in all forms, from labor since I was 15 years old to national director with the biggest home improvement company in the country. Anyway, so I'd gotten out of it, and of course I woke up and everything. And then I was at a birthday party with one of my kids, and I met this gentleman, and he said, "What do you do, and what did you do?" And it ended up being he was with the largest cabinet manufacturer and installation company in the country. So he said, "Why don't you come to work for me, commercial?" So it sounded pretty good, I mean, work out of the house. Mm-hmm. All my jobs are within 5 miles. It was the kind of the flagship accounts that I took over. Anyway, I lasted 4 months. They delivered by FedEx my check to my house every Friday. They gave me probably $15,000 worth of technology, which I actually launched Soulogy One Studios with that equipment.
There you go. So it worked out for you then.
Yeah, but it was a grind. I mean, I got thrown off of 4 jobs. I couldn't stomach. I couldn't stomach it. I couldn't just say nothing. I couldn't, but everything serves. And I have a feeling when you were talking about that, I was like, yeah, well, because I remembered what I'm just relaying to you, and the universe is going to meet you. I mean, there's no doubt something's going to come from nowhere.
I believe that.
Absolutely.
I believe that. I'm staying open to it. I'm following the signs. I'm being patient though. I think patience is a virtue in any situation, especially this. We're talking about living in 2 worlds, and you can't just, unfortunately, it takes money to survive out here. So we can't just walk away from all financial responsibilities. So I'm being patient, but I do have some opportunities that could potentially present a door for me to kind of get out. Because it's just so hard every day being absorbing other people's energy, not being around like-minded individuals all day, and kind of having to keep quiet. And like I said, play a certain role. You get to a point where you just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And
hurt your soul, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. Because your time to be your true self, to get in touch with your higher self, gets smaller and smaller. And I think the more you expand, the harder that gets to contain. 10, 15 years ago, before I really started to wake up, I was all about, going to work. I took pride in being the hardest worker on the job, and, working overtime and all this. And I just, it doesn't impress me anymore. Spiritual freedom is more important to me than any amount of money. We trade the hours of our lives away, for a paycheck. And, like I said, the more we expand, the harder it gets to contain that true self that kind of wants to come out and express itself. I think we've all got a message to share with others. And, just being trapped in that 9 to 5 kind of just makes it hard. So I'm staying patient, staying open, and, like you just said, the universe is going to meet me.
Yeah.
I'm setting intentions, being sincere, starting to live from the heart, and there's something bigger and better out there for me.
Yeah, and it sounds like we have a lot of similarities, but one of them probably in the recent past, the presentation of the divine feminine energy in a physical incarnation that basically, for all intents and purposes, is a doorway to your own relationship with the feminine in yourself, which you're
Yes,
exhibiting. I mean, you're exhibiting everything you're saying is if you look at the surface of it, it's a man. And I'm the same. I mean, I wanted to be the hardest worker. I was basically the Michael Jordan of the home improvement industry at the corporate level for a period of time, and but it's that programming,
yes,
that alpha male, right?
yep,
And like you said, the road to hell, right? Paved with good
that's it.
intentions. But there's something quite beautiful, obviously, of a man opening his heart. It's far beyond the cliche, and it's also like having, I guess, like a come to Jesus meeting, as they say in the
Yeah,
South, right? With
yeah,
and it's it's I don't think it's something that is easily embraced, regardless of how you feel about the feminine that you've attracted into your life. It's still a struggle, and I think that feminine energy, that nurturing, unconditional love, non-judgment, regardless of what you kind of like a mother. A mother has 6 kids. One of
right,
them gets in a bad situation, ends up killing someone, goes to prison. The one person that never gives up on that kid is the mother, right? That's what
right.
I'm talking about. But I'm not talking so much about not that it's not there with your partner, but it's finding that part in you. And you mentioned the word forgiveness. Did you have a lot to forgive? Did you struggle trying to get to the point where you're okay with what you discovered about yourself and realized about yourself?
Yeah, I did. I had a hard time. I still struggle with that. But I am learning to be more consistent at it because I see how it keeps us stuck, if we're not able to forgive ourselves. I think anything that we um, see in ourselves, we see in others, So if I'm not fully able to forgive myself, if I'm not fully able to accept myself, if I'm not fully able to love myself, how can I offer those things fully and completely to someone else? And so just learning those things, and forgiveness is huge. It's I think it's leads us to the path of expansion, awakening. We're going to stay stuck if we don't.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying to move forward. you know so I'm putting the effort in to do the internal work on myself. um this relationship that I've been in has really opened both of us up to a lot of things about ourselves, and it took me time. It took me time to kind of accept some of the things about myself that I saw I needed to work on, because it can be painful. But I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the pain. I'm grateful for the struggles, because that's what's keeping me on the road I'm on to expansion and awakening. And I want to be the best version of myself for the people in my life that I care about and that care about me. I want to be able to be fully present for the people in my life that are important, that that have made a huge impact on my life. I want to reciprocate. I want to give back everything, that they've given to me. So for me to be able to do that, I've got to continue to make sure that I'm putting in the work to be the best version of myself for, not only for them, but for myself. We
Yeah.
can't serve from an empty cup.
Yeah.
And, I'm just trying to put the tools in my toolbox that I need, to be this person for everyone, because I do feel like I'm a powerful person. And, I want to share that with others. I want to give back.
Yeah. Right on. Have you noticed any change in your closest circles? I mean, you mentioned the lineage, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, and it doesn't have to be alcoholism. I mean, it could be some other program or something. But they talk about when a person elevates or comes into a higher level of alignment, how it affects generations forward and backwards. And you're living that. I mean, you've got kids in the house. I mean, they're older teenagers, but I mean, still, that's your lineage. Have you noticed anything changing because your frequency has changed with those circles closest to you, and or has anyone noticed it in you, like your children, relatives, friends, and such?
Yeah, I think people have noticed it. It's I mean, I've definitely noticed that my circle has gotten smaller. I mean, I never had like a huge amount of friends, but it just gets harder the more we awaken and expand. I don't, and I'm not being judgmental on people that aren't on the same path. And I wish everyone the best. And but it has gotten a little more difficult for me to um, socialize or hold some of the small talk conversations
Mhm.
that I used to. Um, I used to be big into sports. I coached all my kids' sports teams when they were younger.
Mhm.
I don't really watch TV anymore. I'm not really into sports like I used to. So, typical males like me on the job site, everybody wants to talk about football and sports
Yeah.
and this. I just don't, I just really don't really have the capacity for it anymore. And like I said, I'm not being judgmental, to each their own. I just have, I just don't have the tolerance for it anymore. And
Yeah.
and it's harder as a male to surround myself with like-minded males. It seems to be a lot more females, at least in my area, that are kind of on the spiritual path. I have crossed paths with one gentleman, and I went to a men's group last night,
Really?
and we met up at a spiritualist church. And I don't know if you're familiar with table tipping, but that
No.
was quite an experience.
What was that?
It is calling in spirit guides or loved ones that have passed, and you is basically everyone was kind of sitting around a table. I guess you could compare it to almost like a Ouija board,
Okay.
but they called in, made sure that positive divine energy, and there was a few spiritual mediums there who were translating messages from beyond, and it was very powerful. I um, I sat at a table with three women, and one of them was a spiritual medium, and they explained before this started that if you sit at a table and the table kind of leans over towards you, that's healing. And as soon as I sat at this table, the table completely leaned over in my direction and just stayed there for about 10 minutes. Yeah, it was
You
crazy.
can't make this shift up,
No,
man.
I can't make it up. And the medium who was at the table, she looks at me and she says, "You're one of us. You need to realize how special you are." And that's something that I needed to hear, because I still kind of struggle with with my identity, because I'm kind of going, it's like I'm going from this old version of myself to this new version. And there's a lot of confusion involved, sometimes feeling lost, isolated, and things like that. So that was very important for me to hear that. And then a few minutes later, she looks at me again and she tells me, she says, "Don't let go. That's a message for you. Don't let go." And at the end of the night, I went up to her and just thanked her. And she told me she had some more messages for me. She said that she was told I'm having a hard time in life right now and not to give up, for me not to give up. She told me that I had a hard road ahead of me, but not to give up, but that didn't discourage me when she said you have a hard road ahead of you, because this isn't an easy journey that any of us are on. But I think if we embrace it and accept it and just surrender, I think it's all about perspective. Like where we are mentally, is a real important place. Like our perspective kind of gives life to our physical reality.
Right on.
So I'm kind of learning to stay grateful, because for years and years, before I started to awaken, there was so much chaos in my life. I just got into a negative mindset, and that takes time to get out of. But I'm embracing the changes, because I was never like that before. I was always a carefree, happy-go-lucky, go with the flow kind of guy. Do things for others, smile on my face, always laughing, and it kind of got. I wouldn't say taken away from me, because that's going to sound like a victim. I gave it away. I gave it away. It's no one's fault but my own. I don't blame anyone for anything that I've been through in my life. I think whether directly or indirectly, I think we always kind of get what we ask for, even if we don't know we're asking for it.
Yeah.
Our mindset, our actions, where we're at mentally is eventually going to become our physical reality. And I'm just kind of learning how powerful that is, and to kind of stay grateful and be thankful for the struggles that we have. If we look at it the right way, it can lead us back to ourselves, to our true self, our higher self. If everything was great all the time, we would have no reason to self-reflect. We would have no reason to do any internal work. We'd be walking around thinking everything was great, and we would cease to manifest. We wouldn't expand anymore. We would just kind of stay right where we're at. And I think I don't think there's any end destination on this path that any of us are on, because the possibilities are infinite.
That's right.
But I think if we just kind of continue to stay positive and grateful, and embrace whatever it is that comes our way, whether it's positive or negative, I don't think we can go wrong with that mindset.
Do you have any inklings, any ideas popping in your head through this journey where you would be speaking to men or to groups, or
Yes.
Yeah.
I do, because like I said, I kind of did it before with the Naranon meetings. I went, and a lot of people were kind of hesitant to speak up, and I never felt like that. So I kind of just would kind of start to speak up immediately, and then I would just kind of gather information and do the work and read literature, and then I kind of got to the point where it was kind of just natural to kind of speak up, and just kind of try to be encouraging, trying to share my story and what I learned, because I think a lot of people, even if it's not the exact same story, I think there's a lot of similarities. Even like how me and you were talking, our background is somewhat similar.
Yeah.
With just the type of work that we did, and backgrounds. I mean, I'm no saint either. I got in some trouble. I did some things. I experimented. So that had a lot to do with,
I always,
my awakening as well.
yeah,
So
that was a big one to forgive, wasn't it? The Stones, but I remember early on in those first couple of years realizing and at the time I didn't really understand it all, the way, because it doesn't come in like perfect words verbatim, right? And but it was like the message was like from the soul, and it was like you chose to go to the deepest, darkest crevices, the grimiest, grittiest place, so that you would, in other words, you would be able to ascend above the line to the degree that you'd gone below the line, right? I mean, it's almost like, if you look at it in terms which probably don't apply, but like battle or whatever, like how do you neutralize the opposite force is by understanding it and becoming it, basically. So
exactly.
I'm with you. I feel like if you can get past the illusion of forgiveness, because I mean, obviously we're moving into an earth where there's no such word, right? I mean, there's nothing to forgive at this point.
Right.
I'm talking about, let's just say, as we expand in what people maybe call 5D or whatever, but you start to realize the fucking gold in these dark nights, in these like you said earlier, you learn to forgive yourself for the things you didn't know, and when you can do that, it's like, wow, I did that.
Yeah.
Was it such a yeah.
Well, I think it's important to kind of go just go far out there, because you're not aware that there's something to find if you never get lost.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to kind of take that fall. What we do with it is up to us. A lot of people never recover from
That's right.
the depths that they go to. They just, maybe they don't have it in them. Maybe they lack a certain amount of awareness, and it's of no fault of their own. Like you said, and there's nothing to forgive. We're all just having this human experience. None of us have ever been here before. That's something I read about a week or two ago, and it said something like, how can you not forgive yourself for mistakes made? You didn't know any better. You've never been here before. That was the lesson. That's what it took for you to get where you're at. So I've really never thought of it how you just said it, but that's great. There's really nothing to forgive, because we're all just making the most out of this experience that we're having.
I mean, if you remove, which we're all doing, step by step victim consciousness, there's no fault then. Fault is not even a word. We're in this world that we're creating. Now, I was going to ask you about something. I know what it was, because I think we're very similar. So let's just say pre-awakening, right? And whether we're talking in terms of our vocation or our sexual intimacy or in anything, because it's all really the same energy, right?
Right.
Before awakening as a man, right? There was I guess an identity, one of many, right? That was in respect to our power to create and our power to do things, right? Through work and through, I mean, a lot of different ways, right? And I struggled. I just wonder, I want to explain this, but I struggled with this, and I wonder if you can relate to this. I had to strip everything away. And again, that door was open through the feminine.
Yes.
So I had
Yes.
to lose everything. I had to literally lose my manhood, my erection, my performance in sex, my approach to what is the proper aligned use of my power in my passion or my work, or all these things, right? And it was really hard to let go of that, because there was a part of me that knew that there was a part of that, albeit it might be a really small part, that was pure. That was, like you said, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? Like, for instance, if you get into like in my old life, in the corporate world, it was a competition. My job was to beat the hell out of everybody else and be the best.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
And
no remorse, no compassion,
right.
all that stuff. I think society programs men and women to think and feel like they're supposed to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And men are like, the type of work that I do and that you did. I mean, I hear guys all the time, leave your emotions in the parking lot. And this macho put on this act, I'm the toughest SOB around. And it's an act, but the thing is, a lot of people don't realize it's an act.
Yeah.
Like, that's a false identity. Right. And they really think that that's who they are. It never felt right to me, but I could never really put my finger on it, because I had been programmed to believe that's who I was supposed to be. So I was spending all my time trying to force myself to be someone and something that I'm not, and, if you talk to, a typical male who is not on a spiritual journey, who's not evolved. And like I said, there's no judgment in any of this. I'm just using examples. But if you talk to a typical male about men having masculine and feminine energies, like they'll look at you like they're like you're crazy. Like,
I know that.
And
that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, how do you re-enter the arena and pull that seed of that power that we're talking about, and perpetuate and expand it, when you're in this environment of that it's unacceptable, basically, that you're soft, and so you don't want to go into warrior mode and start kicking ass again, right? I mean, so you're like, but one of the things that I watch, I'm with you too, by the way. I grew up playing sports. I love sports. As far as participating, my whole outlook's different now. I can't watch anything, but one of the things that I'm watching, just for purposes of energetics, and I don't actually watch them. I just like, looking at it from afar, is this whole UFC MMA thing, right? And I look at it, and I'm listening to you talking, I'm thinking, yeah, this is exactly what I'm experiencing. It's like, I'm watching this thing going, these guys, they stick their chest out. They have these ridiculous press conferences. I mean, it's just a big fucking show, right? And it's sick. Right. It's like a playground of a bunch of wounded little boys. And I'm just wondering how this obvious collective transformation is going to affect something like that, because I think that's going to be a big signpost on the road, right? I mean, I think we're going to see a radical change in everything, but I just look at that and I think, wow, that's just so convoluted, and it's going to fall like everything else, It
is. Yeah. I mean, eventually I think it will, because it's, I don't know. Things are changing. The earth is changing. We're living in the golden age of technology, where we have access to more information than any time in recorded history. And I think if people aren't willing to take advantage of that, it's just such a waste, because there's so much more out here to life than living the way that we've been programmed, whether you're a male or a female. we're meant to live from the heart, to have love and compassion for others. And, it doesn't matter if what your background is, where you come from. But like you said, that's a good point. The UFC, it's almost like a lot of these guys feel like they have something to prove. Everybody wants to prove that they're the biggest and the baddest. And
Right.
why? Just 'cause how does that make you somebody because you could beat the hell out of somebody else? What?
Yeah. And
At
the
the end of
crazy
the day,
and the crazy thing is in football, NFL football is the same way. The crazy thing is what you're saying is exactly right. But what they don't understand, okay, are one of the things. If you look at UFC is a singular organization that has full control of everything. In other words, like the NFL doesn't pay taxes, doesn't pay fucking
right?
taxes, right? And so you're just a cog in the wheel. Look at Conor McGregor. When he recently, when he went in his last match, he broke his leg. His leg
Yes.
snapped.
Yeah.
And here today, gone tomorrow. Like, ride the horse till it drops. And I just wonder what it's going to look like. I guess that's what I'm getting at. I wonder what it's going to look like when you see on a more collective scale in an arena like that, when the energy of what you've experienced or are experiencing, I'm not going to put an ED on it, and what I'm experiencing in this dissolution of the false power and this reignition of the real power of a man. To me, it's a profound thought. I don't know what the answer is. I'm excited to see what'll happen, but I know deep in my heart, because I'm seeing it more every day, there's men like you stepping up, and it's invigorating. I mean, it's encouraging, it's validating, and it's just, I've been waiting, and I've been telling Morgan probably 2-3 years back, I want to help. Not that I know what to do, but I want to be part of this masculine transformation, and I see it happening, and I'm really happy. Of course, it's divine timing, but I'm really happy that we finally got together, and I really want to pursue whatever type of collaborations that we could, to include, if your partner's up for it, having you both on and talk about that. Some don't want to come on.
That'd be great.
But I think it would be a valuable broadcast. 21 months for any couple, whatever that may be, in the ascension these last couple of years. That's a hell of a feat, especially when you speak the way you did and talk about the ups and downs of it. It's a testament to the perseverance of the human spirit, which I think this is all about. The re-love-lution. This is amazing stuff. And then also, to do some stuff artistically, because that to me, the creative part of the masculine has, and it only makes sense, has been absolutely dormant, in my opinion, because we've been on the program. And so for me, who never felt like I had a creative bone in my body, the creativity was both, was opened and then expanded. And I really like to play in that field, especially, with someone like you, with a kindred soul who's got, the same experience and the same perspective as we move forward. And speaking of that, I don't know if you have any of your words laying around. If you want to share them, you don't have to rap them, but I mean, if you want to read some words to us, that'd be cool.
Actually, I do. I could read some. That'd
Cool.
be an honor.
And by the way, I just want to say your hair is the shit, man.
Yeah.
Totally. I told Morgan I want to get dreadlocks, and she said, "Well, if you do, I won't be around." No,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm going to refrain from the dreadlocks and the tattoos until my next.
Yeah, no tattoos here. I don't have any. Yeah. No, but I had longer dreads when I was younger, and I decided to grow them back. I don't know. I feel like myself, I like the look. So But yeah, I've got some stuff here I'd like to read. I'd like to share.
Cool.
Yeah, I probably won't really rap it. I haven't read it out loud, but a few times. But sure, I'll read it. Thank you. Ancient wisdom downloads, higher self frequencies, forbidden truths been told, enlightened delinquency, trauma tested, sixth sense activation, emotionally vested, shamanic vibrations, the road less traveled, dark side of the moon, sanity unraveled, sacred mushrooms, dark to light, light to dark, never ending cycle, live each day like it was our last, can't live in the past, embrace the day, give life to what you say. Twin flame reunion, two souls consumed in unconditional love, as below, so above, written in the stars, become what you are, unveil the ego, not who you thought you'd be. Cosmic energies, open your eyes to feel, protect your sacred space, let your soul resonate, the path's a spiral, two worlds colliding, your heart and mind since the dawn of time. Fragile insecurities deep down inside of me, man enough to admit I'm sick of my own bullshit. Past lives, truth or lies, time we realize no one gets out alive. Karmic debt's been paid in full. Fuck the rules, live your truth. My soul is bulletproof. Been to hell and back to find myself. Relentless search for self-help. Gurus, yogis, mystics, and gods. Nice try, but only you know who you are. New age prophets predict the future. With third eye vision, it's not what you're used to. Time to heal, courage to grow. Stop putting on a show. Ego death, divine breath, time to take a rest in the eternal moment. It's about time we own it.
Yeah.
I've got one more here. Searching for serenity, new world conspiracies, releasing codependencies, parallel universe, shadow curse, or is it a blessing? Let your soul remold. Ancient art of alchemy turn to gold. Destiny unfolds. Kundalini awakening. New reality, it's ours for the taking. Just illusions in the making. Cosmic debris, balanced chakra energies, fifth dimension galaxies, trauma healings, psychic readings, inspired universal poetry, yin and yang, cosmic street slang.
Yeah. Cosmic street slang. I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm telling you, man, you inspired me listening to you and your story. I mean, I could go back to your post about the spirit walk and a lot of the soul speak you did. I know you bounced around a lot. I remember watching some of your posts, living in, small apartments, just making random posts and speaking your word. And it really inspired me. I've always liked to write and express myself. And you were a huge inspiration for me. And I thank you for that.
Yeah. I thank you for that. What you just did, those three were really good. And you should cultivate that. And maybe that's part of what the universe has in mind, because you got a gift there. You have a gift, and I look forward to collaborating with you and talk to your partner, and you and I could sit down, later in the year and do another show.
Okay.
And talk more. I think it's important, definitely important that this, what is the mother goddess energy coming out in everybody, be put out there. I mean, obviously there's a lot of females stepping up now, but there's also a significant and quickly growing number of men like you that this world really needs. And to be honest with you, most of all, these women need in order to feel safe enough. Sure. Yeah, in order to feel safe enough to come out and expand the throat chakra. So I just had a great time with you, and I'm like chilled all over. So
oh man, this is unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
I almost wish you were a little closer, man. I got a friend in Memphis.
Hey, I'm all about road trips, man.
Are you?
Set something up.
Well, Keith Anthony Blanchard, he's a musician, and he runs Circle of Light. You might look it up on Facebook. He's a cool dude.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I stopped at his apartment. We'd done some shows together, and then I was coming from Florida, I think by way of Atlanta, and I stopped in Memphis one night, and we did a show, and he got his guitar out, and we just went for it, you know.
I think I saw that. Did you post that?
Yeah, we did it live.
I saw that.
Yeah,
that was great.
And so I've always had this thing where, you know, I'd like to just, you know, it's, you know, what, a jam session or whatever you want to call it, and him and I talk about it. So I don't know, maybe Atlanta one, you know, weekend or something, and especially not to leave women out, but I think it would be an interesting proposition to see some men that are striving to be awakened further come together and see what happens. So you never know. You got to put it out there, speak that shift into existence, right?
Let's do it. That's it. That's what you got to do. Yeah, it's beautiful. I'd like to see more men awaken. You know, you made a good point. For the women need it. The women need to feel safe. That's one thing that my partner Chrissy taught me about her needing to feel safe and needing for me to protect her.
Yeah, and
I didn't really get that at first.
I didn't either.
I'm extremely grateful that she has shown tremendous patience with me as I work through a lot of my shit and become the man that I was born to be. And
wow.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and I didn't either. And that's part of what I was talking about with that transformation of power. When you say support and protect, it doesn't mean the way we used to. That, you know what I mean? It's a different type. So, and you have to be in touch with your feminine within yourself, which the doorway is your partner in some cases, in our cases.
Definitely.
But to understand what the new definition of power and protection and support is. So, but I appreciate it, brother. I feel like I'm looking in a kindred spirit. I look forward to giving you a hug one day and doing some and creating some magic. So just keep doing what you're doing and reach out to me and let me know what she says and anything else, you know, and we'll see what
I sure will. Yeah, let's keep in touch, man. Let's keep it going, keep the energy flowing, and see what's next for us.
I wish you the best and your children and everything that you do, and I know everything will work out for you, and the universe has many big surprises for you as a result of your efforts. That's how it works.
I'm open to it, man. I claim it all.
Right on. Peace out, Todd. Man. Take care. We'll be back in 25 minutes with the last show of the day. All right. Take care.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
Peace.